Şerik şerik yenten Şeyin rikbi yenten
Dajin lop tutulu Meta maybe norbu Şerik yenten ino Dajin lop tutulu Meta maybe norbu Şerik yenten
Kuzuzangpola to all the listeners across the country. I am Nobuzam from Kurthang Middle Secondary School. This radio program is to reach to all the children across the nation. This lesson is for Class 3 Mathematics for Volume 5 on the topic multiplication. Children, have you ever heard of the word multiplication before? Well, let us learn about multiplication then. I hope you have your self-instructional material and your pencil ready. Let us start then. Multiplication is a way of describing a repeated addition, equal sets, and arrays. There is an example of a multiplication sentence given below. Let us take a look at that. You will see number 4, then an X-like sign, then number 3, the equal to sign, and number 12. The two numbers, 4 and 3, are the numbers that are multiplied, and they are called factors. Then, that X sign is the sign used for multiplication. We read it as times. Number 12 is the answer of multiplying 4 and 3, and it is called the product. Now, earlier we learned that multiplication is a way of describing a repeated addition, equal sets, and arrays, right? Now let us look at the different ways one by one. The first one is multiplication as repeated addition. There is an example given below to help you understand better. The example question is, Dicky had 4 friends. Each friend gave her 2 flowers. How many flowers did she have altogether? Look at the pictures given below. The first little girl is Dicky. Then you will see 4 girls on the right, each holding 2 flowers. They are Dicky's 4 friends. If each of the friends gave 2 flowers to Dicky, we have to put all these flowers together to see how many flowers Dicky had. So we add the flowers. 2 flowers plus 2 flowers plus 2 flowers plus 2 flowers. So 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 gives us a total of 8 flowers. Now, here, number 2 is repeatedly added 4 times, right? This can be represented by a multiplication sentence. If you look on the right, you will see 4 times 2 equals to 8. In this multiplication sentence, the first factor, number 4, tells us the number of times 2 is repeatedly added. The second factor, number 2, is the number that is repeatedly added. And the product, that is number 8, tells us the total number. Next, let us learn about multiplication as equal sets. If you look at the example given below, you will see 3 sets of fruits. In each set, there are 2 fruits, an apple and a mango. The total number of fruits in all the sets is 6, right? This set can be represented by a multiplication sentence. That is, 3 times 2 equals to 6. The first factor, number 3, tells us the number of sets. There are 3 sets, right? The second factor, number 2, tells us the number in each set. There are 2 fruits in each set, right? The product of these 2 factors, that is number 6, tells us the total number in all the sets. There are 6 fruits in total, right? Okay. Now let us look at multiplication as arrays. Now before we learn how multiplication represents an array, let us learn about arrays first. What is an array? When things are arranged in a rectangular format, it is called arrays. Look at the picture given below, the one on the left first. You will see black dots arranged in rectangular form, right? There you will see arrows showing rows, R-O-W-S, rows. It says, lines of items that go from left to right are called rows. How many rows do you see in this array? 2, right? The ones going from left to right. Now, look at the picture given on the right side. There, you will see arrows showing columns. It says, lines of items that go up and down are called columns. Now look at the lines that are going from up to down. How many lines do you see? Okay, 4, right? So how many columns do you see in this array? 4 columns. To understand multiplication as arrays, there is an example given below. We have to find how many marbles are there altogether. Look at the picture of the marbles. They are arranged in an array. This array of marbles can be represented as a multiplication sentence. 2 times 5 equals to 10. The first factor, number 2, tells us the number of rows. There are 2 rows of marbles, right? The second factor, number 5, tells us about the number of columns. There are 5 columns, right? Then the product of these 2 numbers, that is number 10, tells us the total number of items. There are 10 marbles in this array, isn't it? So the product is 10. Now let us learn about multiplying a number by 1. Firstly, look at example A. The multiplication sentence is 5 times 1 equals to 5. We can describe this multiplication sentence as 5 sets of 1 item each. So if we look at the total number of items in all the 5 sets, we get a total of 5 items. So 5 times 1 equals to 5. Now look at example B. The multiplication sentence is 1 times 5 equals to 5. We can describe this set as one set of 5 items each. So, if we look at the total number of items, we get a total of 5 items. So, 1 times 5 equals to 5. Remember, if you multiply any number with 1, the product is the number itself. In the 2 examples given above, 5 multiplied with 1, the answer is 5 itself. Now let us learn about multiplying a number by 0. Firstly, look at example A. The multiplication sentence is 0 times 5 equals to 0. We can describe this set as 0 sets of 5 items each. 0 sets mean no sets at all. And if there are no sets at all, then there would be no items to count at all, right? So, the total number of items would be 0. That is why 0 times 5 equals to 0. Next, look at example B. The multiplication sentence is 5 times 0 equals to 0. We can describe this as 5 sets of 0 items each. 0 items in each set means no items at all in any of the sets. So, if there are no items in any of the 5 sets, that means there are no items to count at all, right? That is why 5 times 0 equals to 0. So remember, children, if you multiply any number with 0, the product is always 0. In both of the examples given above, the product is 0. Now that we have learned about multiplication, let us try activity 1 first. The instruction says, write the multiplication sentence for each of the figures given below. The first one is done for you, so look at A first. The given figure is 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals to 12. What does it show? It shows repeated addition, right? So you have to write a multiplication sentence to describe that repeated addition. The first factor should be the number of times a number is repeatedly added. 4 is repeatedly added 3 times, right? So you write 3 as the first factor. Then write the multiplication sign. The second factor should be the number that is repeatedly added. 4 is repeatedly added, right? So you have to write 4 as the second factor. Then write the equal to sign, and for the product, you have to write the total sum of 4 plus 4 plus 4. That is 12. So we write 12 as the product. Now look at the figures given in B, C, and D. Figure B shows 6 sets with 3 shapes in each set. Figure C shows 5 repeatedly added 7 times, and that is equal to 35. And finally, figure D shows 4 rows and 3 columns of apples. Write the multiplication sentence for each of the figure under each of them on the line drawn. After you have finished that, check your answers in the answer box given at the end of the lesson. After you have finished activity 1, try activity 2. The instruction says, find the products. And in the bracket, it says you can use any one of the methods given above. So, you can use repeated addition or equal sets or arrays to find the products and write the answer on the blank space provided for each question. A is 3 times 8, B is 4 times 5, C is 9 times 0, and D is 1 times 7. Check your answers later in the answer box given at the end of the lesson. Alright, children, To further check your understanding of this lesson, there is a word problem given under Self-Check for Learning. Let us read the question. It says, there are 6 packets of biscuits. There are 5 biscuits in each packet. How many biscuits are there altogether? Read the question carefully and find out the 2 numbers to multiply, and then find the product or the total number of biscuits altogether. Then check your answer in the answer box given. And that brings us to the end of this lesson. We will continue in the next lesson. Till then, stay safe, stay clean, and keep washing your hands. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Şerik şerik yenten Şeyin rikbi yenten
Dajin lop tru tulu Veta me binurbu Shiri genten ino Dajin lop tru tulu Veta me binurbu Shiri